Greetings, welcome to Make 52 Things. I set myself a challenge to make 52 things in 52 weeks because I wasn't making enough things, even though I can make all sorts of interesting and funky stuff. So, fine, it's week 3. I've made 2 things, mostly digital things. And now I really need to up my game, because if I don't make something this week, I'm going to have to make 2 things next week, and it all starts to get a bit sticky. Unfortunately, one of the reasons why I haven't made all of the things that I can make is because my workshop is a complete disaster area. Have a look at this. There's not even enough room for me to step out of the way so you can see how much of a disaster area this is. So, I'm going to have a go at a thing, and I'm going to give myself an hour, I'm going to time myself for an hour, tidying up my workshop, trying to make it into slightly more useful space. What I'm going to try and do also is time-lapse that hour. But just so you've got an idea of how awful it is, I'm going to show you this from a slightly different angle as well. The thing is, I've got so many tools. That's woodworking tools. That's one box of power tools. Abrasives and stuff. What's that? Oh, rags. That's miscellaneous tools that don't really fit anywhere else. Or indeed there. Files. Many files. My hammer collection, of which there are many, because actually you need many hammers because each hammer is different and useful for another thing. Ear defenders, because PPE is real, people. And just, well, crap. Look, just crap. That's a glass cloche thing, I don't know. That's my soldering kit, blowtorch, bandsaw, which I don't have room for, a pile of just random miscellaneous shite. So clearly what I have to do is tidy up. Here's the time lapse. So it's an hour later, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, I haven't got as far as I wanted to. But there is a useful thing about it all. Another one of the problems with my procrastination and my continual lateness to things is that I radically underestimate how long it's going to take me to do anything. Now I've thrown an hour into this. I have cleared up a massive amount of stuff. Well, I have managed to get a load of stuff out of here. But it's created another problem in the lean-to next door, because now there's a load of stuff that needs to be dealt with because there was a load of stuff in here that didn't need to be in here. At the same time, it does look a little bit better. And the bits that are in the corner over there are sort of intractable problems. That's the random odds and sods pile in the corner of the bench, which is where things get chucked when they don't really have anywhere to live. So I'm going to stick them all in this big pile of chocolate boxes. That gets rid of them, and I'll try and sort them into things of like as I go. Aside from that, I have largely managed to clear the bench, put a load of stuff away, and realised that there are a load of little jobs which I've been meaning to get round to, but which I haven't. So I'm probably going to have to finish them at some point soon. But in order to reward myself for the hour that I've spent, I'm going to try and make a thing. Actually make a thing. I didn't make a thing. Kind of got a bit carried away with tidying up. You see, I'd made a bit of a scratch on the surface of making the place a little bit tidier, and that was Friday afternoon. Well, now it's Sunday night, and I've spent About 6 hours, 7 hours, possibly 8 hours. I've spent the best part of 2 days tidying, and it's amazing. I've found a load of projects that I was either halfway through or never got to. I found a load of components for really funky things that I was going to make but never got round to because the components got buried and then there wasn't enough room in the workshop to make things. So whilst I haven't actually made a thing, I have made a massive dent in the tidying up of the workshop. And, shock horror, I've thrown things away. This is the pile of crap that I've moved out of my workshop and I've been keeping for years. There's a lot of plastic pipe which I've kind of held on to because might be useful if I ever decide to entirely replumb my bathroom. There's a plastic Bosch carry case there which I've held on to largely because it belonged to my father. He never used it because it's a carry case for an electric drill. Who the hell uses one of those? But nevertheless, for sentimental reasons, I held on to a grey plastic Bosch carry case. The more I clear out in here, the more I realise that, frankly, I'm a nutter. But it's Sunday night. I haven't really made anything. But I have tidied up something chronic. Have a look at this little lot. Sadly for me, making space and making a dent in the tidying up doesn't count in my rules for making things because I haven't actually created something physical. So it's the end of week 3. I've got a tidy workshop, but I've only made 2 things in 3 weeks. And those are digital things, so I kind of feel like I've cheated, but they are achievements, so I'm gonna stick them on the list, because an extra 50 things to make, well, that's still a goal. Unfortunately, it means that week 4 begins tomorrow, and I will need to make 2 things next week in order to make any progress whatsoever on my challenge. However, I am in a position that I haven't been in for years, which is being able to walk into my workshop at any time, day or night, switch the lights on, switch the heater on, and just work. Just do something. Just do something. And that is the only way I'm going to get through this challenge, is if I actually just do something. Easier said than done. So I've decided to not give up and try a 15-minute make. Just see if I can make something, just anything, so that I can say I've made a thing. This is as exciting as it's going to get, ladies and gentlemen. I am not going to do that thing of doing you a video showing you me torturously making something and then you finding out at the end that it's a bit rubbish. You're about to find out now that it's a bit rubbish. I have 3 neodymium magnets. I love these things. I could play with them forever. Note, they're on a piece of wooden coaster that I have for my teacup, and they are, you can see that they are countersunk. So they're a flat disc, but they're countersunk. And they are ridiculously powerful. Magic! Unfortunately, it now means it's stuck to the bench, something chronic. There they are. I could do that all day. We'll do that again. Anyway, right, so I've got 3 neodymium magnets. I have a piece of crappy 12mm plywood. I have a hole drilling thing, drill hole cutter thing. Love these, they're great. And I have a coat hook. I also have a large steel door and a high-vis jacket that needs somewhere to live. Guess what I'm going to make, kids? A coat hook. Now, a wise man would clamp that. I'm going to use the power of my thumbs. Ooh, hello. That's a bit wobbly. Don't fancy that much. Alright, let's try that again. Yeah, it's still a bit wobbly. Well, I'll go again. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, lose a finger. Oh yeah, that. There's a hole in a piece of wood. I don't want the hole in the piece of wood. I don't want the piece of wood that's come out of there. That is what I want. It's offset and it's crappy, but at the same time, it will do the job I need it to do. That, ladies and gentlemen, is that. Alright, so it's not the most exciting make in the world. However, you have discovered just how funky neodymium magnets can be, and you can hang a coat on 3 of them, apparently, if that's the sort of thing you ever want to do. What I have managed to achieve is I've made some space. Now that doesn't go down as a make because, well, you could use that as a procrastination exercise for the rest of your life. I made some space. Didn't make a thing, but I made some space. So I'm going to lump making some space and making some headway, making this video and making a coat hook as my one make for the week. This is an achievement and I think I can probably mark it off on the list. The next thing I'm going to do, well, I've got 3 choices of the next thing I'm going to make. I've got a toaster here, which is still throwing crumbs at me. The reason I've got a toaster is because I want to make a hot wire foam cutter out of the element wire inside. That will be useful. I've also got here a pair of ibex horns. There are going to be issues about me having ibex horns. We'll talk about that later. But I want to mount these on the wall. That's what they were bought for 30 years ago. Yes, not by me, by my father, 30 years ago. I'm going to make a wall shield for them and hopefully cover this in some pony skin that I've got. Yes, real pony, or real skin off a real pony. And I'm going to make my wife happy because this is a frankly revolting Moroccan lamp that she bought which is in this disgusting faux horrid copper thing. She loves it. She wants it in the lounge. I don't want to give it house room until it's been completely changed. So there are loads of tiny little jewels in there that all need to be taken out. And then it's going to be sprayed matte black, the universal colour of something recently stolen. So those are 3 makes that I could do next. I also want to make a camp stove. More on that later. If you want to see me try and quite possibly fail at any of those projects, then I've got to do the thing. Like and subscribe. If you'd like to stick around with me in my little making journey, I would say, like every other YouTuber, smash the like button, but please don't. Like buttons are sensitive. Touch it gently, like a lover.